For most of human history, loneliness was rare. Humans evolved in tribes, small villages, and tight communities where survival depended on each other. Thousands of years ago, being alone was actually dangerous. If someone was isolated from the group, their chances of survival dropped dramatically. That is why our brains evolved to treat loneliness almost like physical pain. It was a warning signal telling us that something was wrong and that we needed to reconnect with other people. But today, something strange has happened. For the first time in history, millions of people are surrounded by others, constantly connected through technology, yet they feel deeply alone. In the middle of crowded cities, endless social media feeds, and digital conversations, loneliness has quietly become one of the biggest psychological crises of the modern world. In fact, researchers in the United States have started calling it an epidemic. In 2023, the US Surgeon General released a report saying that loneliness is now as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that for a moment. Feeling socially disconnected can damage your body almost as much as heavy smoking. Loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, depression, anxiety, dementia, and even early death. Yet, despite all of this, the problem keeps growing. Surveys show that nearly half of American adults report feeling lonely on a regular basis. Among young people, the numbers are even worse. Generation Z, the most digitally connected generation in history, is also the loneliest. So the question is obvious. If we are more connected than ever before, why do we feel more alone than ever before? To understand this, we need to go back to how human society used to function. Just a few generations ago, life was built around real communities. People lived close to extended families. Neighbors knew each other. Local events, churches, markets, and small gatherings created constant social interaction. A person didn't need to schedule social time because connection was built naturally into everyday life. You saw people when you walked outside, when you worked, when you shopped, and when you rested. Your social world was physically present around you, but modern society slowly dismantled that structure. Urbanization moved millions of people into large cities, where relationships became temporary and transactional. Instead of lifelong neighbors, people now move apartments every few years. Instead of extended families living together, individuals often live alone. The design of modern life began prioritizing independence, privacy, and productivity over community. At the same time, work culture changed dramatically. Many people now spend most of their day working long hours, commuting, or staring at screens. After work, they are often too exhausted to socialize in meaningful ways. And even when they try to relax, they open their phones instead of meeting real people. This is where technology enters the story. Social media promised to connect the world. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter were designed to help people share their lives and stay in touch with friends. And in many ways, they did connect us. You can instantly message someone on the other side of the planet. You can watch someone's life unfold in real time through their posts and stories. But the connection created by social media is often shallow. Instead of deep conversations, we scroll through highlights of other people's lives. Instead of genuine friendships, we count followers and likes. And instead of feeling connected, many people start comparing their lives to the carefully edited versions they see online. Psychologists call this the comparison trap. When you constantly see images of people traveling, celebrating, succeeding, and looking perfect, your brain begins to believe that everyone else is happier than you. Even if those images are curated and unrealistic, they still affect your perception. Slowly, people begin to feel like outsiders in a world where everyone else seems to belong. Ironically, the very technology that promised connection has, in many cases, replaced real human interaction. Another factor driving loneliness is the decline of what sociologists call third places. A third place is a social environment that exists outside of home and work. Coffee shops, parks, community centers, bookstores, and local gathering spots used to play this role. These places allowed people to casually meet others, form friendships, and feel part of a community without needing a formal invitation. But many of these places are disappearing. Urban spaces have become more commercialized, more expensive, and less socially interactive. Instead of community spaces, people often move between private locations like homes, offices, and cars. The opportunities for spontaneous social interaction are shrinking. Loneliness is also deeply connected to the modern culture of hyper-individualism. In many Western societies, success is defined by independence. People are encouraged to focus on personal achievement, career success, and self-sufficiency. While independence can be empowering, extreme individualism can also isolate people from each other. When everyone is focused on their own goals, relationships sometimes become secondary. Friendships weaken. Families grow distant. People start believing they must solve all their problems alone. But human beings were never designed to live that way. Our brains are literally wired for social connection. Studies using brain scans show that positive social interactions activate the same reward systems as food, money, and pleasure. When we laugh with friends, share experiences, or feel understood by someone, our brains release chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin that make us feel safe and happy. When those connections disappear, the brain interprets it as a threat. This is why loneliness doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels painful. Over time, chronic loneliness can change how people think and behave. Lonely individuals often become more socially anxious, more sensitive to rejection, and less likely to trust others. This creates a dangerous cycle. The more lonely someone feels, the harder it becomes for them to reconnect with people, and then the loneliness deepens. Another surprising cause of modern loneliness is convenience. Today, almost everything can be done without interacting with another human being. You can order food, groceries, clothes, entertainment, and transportation without speaking to anyone. You can work remotely. You can watch movies alone. You can even date through apps without meeting people in real life. While convenience makes life easier, it also quietly removes the small social interactions that once filled our days. Those small moments, chatting with a cashier, greeting neighbors, talking to coworkers, may seem insignificant, but they actually play an important role in our sense of belonging. Without them, life becomes strangely silent. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this trend dramatically. Lockdowns forced billions of people into isolation, cutting off normal social interaction for months or even years. Even after restrictions ended, many people struggled to rebuild their social lives. Habits had changed. Remote work remained common. And for many, social anxiety had increased. The result was a sharp rise in loneliness across the world. But perhaps the most disturbing part of the loneliness epidemic is that it often remains invisible. Unlike physical illnesses, loneliness does not always show obvious symptoms. People can appear successful, active, and socially connected while still feeling deeply alone. Someone might have thousands of followers online, but no one they feel comfortable calling during a difficult moment. And that is the real difference between connection and belonging. Connection means interacting with people. Belonging means feeling understood, valued, and accepted. Many people today have connection, but very little belonging. The good news is that loneliness is not inevitable. Despite the trends of modern society, humans still have the ability to rebuild meaningful relationships. Research shows that even small steps toward real connection can significantly improve mental health and happiness. Simple actions like spending time with friends, participating in community activities, volunteering, or joining local groups can rebuild the sense of belonging that many people have lost. Even small conversations with strangers can reduce feelings of isolation. The key is moving from passive digital interaction toward active real-world connection. Because at the end of the day, human happiness has always depended on relationships. Not followers, not likes, not productivity, and not achievements, but real people, real conversations, and real moments of connection. The loneliness epidemic is not just a personal problem. It is a societal challenge created by the way modern life has been designed. But understanding the problem is the first step towards solving it. And maybe the real question we should ask ourselves is this: in a world that is more connected than ever before,